Hey everyone, welcome back to the Basic Butch Tarot. My name is Jennifer Rose and I am the head butch in charge here. Thank you so much for tuning in to my channel today. I am going to do a no, grow, let go read in the spirit of greatest love of all. And yes, I'm talking Whitney Houston, but the greatest love of all is you. It's learning to love yourself, just like Whitney said. That is the greatest love. And that is the way that we can make the most change in the world right now. There's so many things going on. We're talking about a national level, a state level, a local level, and a super local level, like your neighborhood, your friends, your family, the people surrounding you. And I think, I am a person that likes to protest. And if you follow me on Instagram, you will see that sometimes that comes out. But a lot of us are mad as hell and a lot of us are sad as hell. And, we've got to get some growth going on in the I think about all the things that I want to do, like, oh, is it time to throw Molotov cocktails? Oh, is it time to, put posters up everywhere and stickers and buttons and banners and protests and marches and, you know what? No, because I'm not there yet. I know that I have to be my greatest love. And I really used to think that whole phrase was the biggest bunch of psycho babble bullshit that you ever did hear. Like, I'm Gen X. We were called pussies on a regular basis, and we still call each other pussies. Like, Gen X still calls other people pussies, right? And I love what my spouse said to me the first time that I said something about, I referred to myself as being a pussy when I was talking about something sensitive or something that I was sensitive about. She's like, hey, why are you're saying pussy like it's a bad thing? Pussy's good. And I'm like, ooh, she's right. And I stopped it because it let me know that I was hanging around with some people that were really in deep with the toxic masculinity, and I had to, really pull myself away from whole groups of people in order to heal. The company you keep will really pull you into bad behaviors, just, to keep yourself from being lonely or what have you. But anyway, greatest love of all is you. Whether it's hokey or whether it makes you a pussy, then be that pussy. But that pussy is going to change the world. Okay. So yes, we've got to start with ourselves. That is going to be the best way that we can make some progress. Okay. We have to unlearn the things that we were given and taught and spanked about. We have to unlearn all of that and figure out who we are inside and how we can lend some wisdom to other people. Maybe it's because I'm getting ready to turn 50. I don't know, but I've seen a lot of shit in my lifetime. And unfortunately, someone half my age has seen 50 years worth of shit in their lifetime, right? And we can't become desensitized to love. And, our best love outward is to love ourselves inward. And that's just how it is, y'all. So let's do a no, grow, let go on the greatest love of all, which is ourselves. Okay. So what do we know about our greatest love? What do we know about us right now in this moment? What do we know about ourselves? Okay. And I'm using a different deck today. I'm using my Deviant Moon deck because I'm feeling a little melancholy about some things, like I'm feeling a little down and I just have to go back to doing some work on myself so I can be a better resource to other people that may be feeling like me, who may be not on their journey to loving themselves. I'm not a life coach by any means, and I am not perfect, but I do know what it's like to place expectations on yourself and other people and then let yourself down and then give up on your work, right? But don't give up. Tiny baby steps will really make a huge difference in everything in the world, in our surroundings, and what we touch matters. Okay. And I don't mean touch as in physical touch, but yes, that does matter. Always get consent. But it's about, it's about touching our heart. It's about getting in touch with ourselves. Okay. So what do we know about this right now? We know that we are the world. And that's really funny because I keep hearing my very talented sister-in-law, Danielle Nicole, blues singer, who sings one of my favorite renditions of Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror. And it's about making that change. And, he also was participating in We Are the World. So the world card, you are the world, and you can change the world. Like, the world is a completion. It is a complete cycle. And you are the complete cycle. How about that? Like, you are it. You are the complete cycle. And look, you are right there in the middle, large in charge. You have fire. You have all the elements that you need. You even have, this really kind of reminds me of the Chariot card too. So you have ways to bring things together and push them forward. See this juxtapose, and these fishmen looking things are, facing each other and jumping over hoops around you. They're so excited, and you've got the fire. So here you are. You're the world, and you can change the world by changing who you are. Let's see here. By changing who you are, by changing how you love yourself, like by changing the fact that you even love yourself, okay? Like, some of us don't even know that we love ourselves. We don't love ourselves. And to tell someone to love themselves, oh, what am I going to do? Give myself a hug. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you can give yourself a hug. You can physically give yourself a hug. You can mentally give yourself a hug by not wrapping yourself around the chaos, and just knowing that that chaos comes in a complete cycle, though. And the world says, it is a completion. It is a full end. And then there's a new beginning, right? So you are the world. So that's what we know. The world can be changed by you, and you are the world all at the same time, like dual card. Woo woo. So that's what we know. What do we need to grow? All right. This is the biggie. Like, this is growing inside. 3 of Pentacles. Ooh. Okay, so we know that we have some work to do, and as soon as I saw that, I saw therapist vibes. So you can see that there's this darkish figure here. And why I chose these is because these Deviant Moon cards are the dark and the bright. They're the yin and the yang. Being the world to yourself and healing yourself, it's a whole lot of shadow work, and but it's possible and it's doable. So what I saw was a therapist, and it looks like somebody is just like bludgeoning, maybe painting. That really looks like a bloody tooth too. Like, so maybe your therapist, maybe you're growing by not pushing forward, not being so pushy with your ideas, not being so in the fiery red, not drawing blood when you have your ideas too, but rather, building your spine, building yourself up, giving yourself some opportunity to react in a different way, giving yourself some ideas. Maybe that therapist, or maybe you are your own therapist, giving you ideas to keep yourself from biting into someone. Wow, I'm really getting a whole lot of energy about that painting. I need to look at this a little bit closer. Yeah, it really looks like, it looks a little bit like painting. It looks like someone's painting, or, I don't know, picking your brain, picking your mind about, like what to do. And this person is drawing on that other person's head. Like, growing from listening to someone else, listening to a different perspective, maybe growing from, drawing some different conclusions. And somebody's going to help you figure this out, I also feel like sometimes when I do the work, I feel like my brain is bleeding. Like I feel like I'm actually gushing something. It feels like a whole lot happened in there. And it feels like someone like tapped into my head and just like brought some shit out that I wasn't expecting. And this is, like about your work, love, life, however you want to see that. This is about your health, wealth, and finances, these pentacles, and this is about grounding yourself. So maybe the growth is about grounding, is about not taking the first jab, not drawing different conclusions, and working together with your good and your bad, with your bright side and your dark side, in order to make this a full circle. So there's our growth card. I know I seem a little around and around about this. I'm just picking up all sorts of different types of energies here. I think the spirits have a whole lot to say with me today. So grow. What do we need to let go of in order to make ourselves our greatest love of all? I know that we need to free up time. We need to make time for ourselves. There are no excuses. You can take 10 minutes of just quiet. And I know a lot of people do that in the bathroom, but go do something a little further. Maybe that's your first step, like, oh, I'm going to go in the bathroom for 10 minutes and avoid these things. And I don't mean avoid them, but to get some peace about them, right? It's more than just avoiding. It's about going through those things, all right? Yes, going through. It's about going through. It's drawing out the details, going through, and making a complete circle with it. Okay. Get a little bit more. All right. Grow, let go. What do we need to let go of? What do we need to let go of in order to make ourselves the greatest love of all? To be the world, to help the world, to be a better participant in the world. The Seven of Swords. Deception. And this is a great Seven of Swords card, because that Seven of Swords is feeding themselves lies. They're feeding themselves information, right? And sometimes this information is toxic. Like you can see that is a dark head, like our brain dark, and the rest of it is light. So like we're in our minds, our thoughts are toxic. And if our thoughts are toxic, our behavior is going to be toxic. We got to watch what we ingest. And that means from outside, that means from the TVs. We got to let go of, this 24-hour fucking news cycle. We got to let go of that. Like I felt like in order to be a good citizen or participant of the United States, of my community, that I had to stay in tune with everything that was going on. And yes, I stay in tune, okay? But I finally had to turn the TV off. I can't watch I just can't watch what's going on right now. I can't. I know that it's happening. And the best thing that I can do is to be a better person, to stop feeding myself the information that makes myself feel bad, that makes me feel toxic energy, that makes me not want to work on myself, telling myself and feeding myself, like feeding ourselves. I just went ahead and made that about myself, but I'm feeling this card right now. Yeah. The information that we're consuming, the information that we're telling ourselves, we need to let go of a constant self-talk in our mind, a constant eating of information that only causes us. I mean, look, it's dark here in our minds, and then it gets a little bit brighter because, okay, well, maybe we're exercising and that takes a little bit of the anxiety, but that negative shit that we're feeding ourselves, and I mean negative in a real way, like maybe it's the crappy food that we're taking in. Maybe it's the crappy drinks. Like maybe we need to give up the sugary sodas, and that's hard. For me, I had to give up the sugary sweet tea in the South, and that's tough. But we need to give up that negative, what we're ingesting that is just going to cut us. There's no way that sword is getting all the way through that body curved like that, right? And the deception, like swallowing the sword that's being given to us just because it's hanging up there. We don't have to do that. We don't have to ingest anything that we don't want to ingest. And as a matter of fact, we should get rid of those things that don't serve us. Like if these thoughts don't serve our greatest love, if they don't serve us personally in a positive way, if they don't serve us to help us through our shadow work, then we really need to let go of it. And I'm really feeling like deceiving ourselves and telling ourselves that we can't do it, telling ourselves that we're worthless piece of shit pussies, that we're too sensitive, that we take things too personally. Like, yeah, we're literally ingesting these things. These are the ways that we can, these are the things that we can let go of in order to be a more complete person in the world. I hope that makes sense to you all. And I wanted to share a really quick story, a personal story with you about my own personal growth. I started doing some things differently. I've been in therapy for several years, and I started doing some things differently about a year ago. I'm reading tarot, and it's been really great for me in my journey in becoming a better person. But yesterday I was at the ER, and I'm a very empathetic person. I'm an empath and I feel everything. And a tiny infant was there, and they were crying, screaming bloody murder, and I could just feel their pain on top of my pain, and it was just really overwhelming. And yes, I've been that asshole before, like, I want your kid to shut up while I'm eating, okay? I don't want to hear your screaming baby all through Walmart. And I had a person put me in my place, a friend of mine put me in my place about that. And I'm so thankful she did, on a side note, about the baby screaming in places that you're, not happy about hearing, in Walmart particularly. She's like, hey, have you ever thought about like asking that person with the children if they need help? Like maybe there's a baby change that needs to happen. Maybe somebody's got a poopy diaper and that person has 3 other kids in the cart that they're watching. Kind of hard to do. Like they might leave you in charge of their cart so they can go change this baby, and the baby will, be happier. But I always take that so personally, and I don't want to be that older person that's just always pissed off about something and not progressing and not changing. So instead of, sitting there in my mind and telling myself, oh, I wish this baby would shut up, because the only reason why I would think that is because I can feel that, and it's just impacting me. Instead of just saying, oh, this damn baby and blah, 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 I started going down that road in my mind. Like, can they not help this baby with something? Can they not give this baby something to calm it down? Like, shit, we're in an ER, can we please help the pain of this baby, right? And not that I made that happen, or anything, but not that I could make that happen or anything, but, I thought, okay, Jennifer, smartass, well, what would you do if you go out there? Like, are you going to go out there and you're going to tell the nurse, like, hey, shut that baby up, or what would you do? What would you do to help that baby? And I was like, well, what's bothering me? Well, what's bothering me is that I can't go and I can't take that baby and wrap it up in my arms and make it feel better. Somehow I think I can help the situation, but you never know. That's what I would want to do, right? So I thought about myself physically exiting the door and going and finding the baby and putting the baby here. And I was like, okay, so now you've got the baby too. Like, what do you do? And I'm like, I take deep breaths with the baby, and I, through my heart and through my energy, tell that baby, like, it's okay. And just that physical, that's what I would do. And not that that was going to keep the baby from feeling the way the baby was feeling, but that's what I thought that I should do. And I'm not a parent. I'm just a big sister. But that's what I would do. So doing that calmed myself down because I was physically doing the deep breathing. I was physically like holding the baby and envisioning me seeing the baby and just holding it. And, you know, and then a few minutes later, the baby quit crying, which was wonderful because I had 2 releases there. Like I had a release from my high blood pressure minute where I was like, oh my gosh, there's this baby and it's really in pain. And oh, I wish it would shut up, you know, like to like, so how would I help this baby instead? You know, like how would I be of assistance? You know, if I could do something, what would I do? So I did it. Like I physically did it even without, you know, having the baby physically. And to me, that was a lot of growth. That was something that I could see full circle. I could see, where's that world card at? I could see where my transformation of putting myself first, like that baby crying had absolutely nothing to do with me except for the fact that I was in the same facility that that baby was in and I could hear it, okay, crying. But I really feel like I could send some energy that direction, hoping that at least, you know, it would soothe someone. I mean, I could hear the nurses out there just, you know, I could feel everything happening. So I was just like, so it was a release. And even though I went there in my mind a minute about this damn screaming baby, I brought myself back out and I brought myself into a loving capacity. And I don't know, kind of proud of myself actually. So it is possible to make some changes. And starting today is the best day to begin, right? So, let me do some housekeeping. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do. I appreciate you listening to me ramble about my personal stories and tarot. Like this video, give me a comment, tell me what you think about it. Tell me if you've ever had an experience like that. Have you been able to see your own growth and recognize it? Like I've had other people tell me like, hey, I noticed that, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, obviously people can notice that you lose weight or what have you, but not everybody can notice that you've grown. And I think it's better coming from yourself if you're able to see it. And if you've grown and your eyes are open and you're able to walk through those motions, like to have those steps and de-escalate yourself, you know, and bring yourself back into a loving position. If you're able to see that, that's golden. And so it's been over a year now, and I'm starting to see a little bit of progress. And I'm also getting a whole lot of things that I know that I need to change or let go of. But babies, you are the world. You really are. So, and you're a game changer. You're a game changer in this world, okay? But you got to do the work first. And don't slough off that whole idea that you've got to love yourself before you love anyone else. Don't just toss that off as being, you know, psychobabble, because it is good information. And if you apply yourself, you will succeed. Thank you so much for tuning in to me today. Remember, my readings are for entertainment purposes only.